The Queen beheaded for adultery in the history of the British monarchy, the reign of King Henry VIII, second monarch of the Tudor dynasty in the 16th century, one of the most notorious. Not only did his rule bring about major reforms for England, but it was also marked by a scandalous affair that would shake the very foundation of the royal court. The alleged adultery of Queen Anne Boleyn was the second wife among the six that this famously lustful and fickle king would take. Anne came from a common family, but fate, perhaps ambition, led her straight into the king's heart. Their romantic entanglement began in 1525. At the time, Henry VIII was married to Queen Catherine of Aragon. The two had spent 24 years together in what many considered a stable and happy marriage. But the arrival of the enchanting Anne Boleyn turned Henry into a man possessed. He was willing to abandon everything: his wife, his religion, even his allies, to pursue this captivating woman. Historians would later uncover a series of love letters Henry had written to Anne at the height of their passion. One letter dated February 1528 shows just how deeply Henry had fallen. "From this day forward, my heart will always be with you, and you alone," he wrote. He also apologized for once suggesting she'd become his mistress, swearing his love was pure and everlasting. Seduced by such fiery devotion, Anne eventually gave in, and their relationship took a fateful turn. While Henry's love for Anne blossomed, his marriage with Queen Catherine deteriorated into cold indifference. He completely ignored his wife, leaving her alone in the palace, isolated and heartbroken. Desperate to marry Anne, Henry sought to annul his 24-year marriage. But when the Pope refused, the king made a bold, dangerous move. He severed ties with the Roman Catholic Church, created the Church of England, and appointed himself its supreme head. With that, he divorced Catherine and married Anne. Catherine was deposed, and Anne rose from commoner to Queen of England. Her life became a fantasy of extravagance: 250 personal servants, 60 officials for court duties, and unlimited riches. She bought luxurious goods from around the world: golden beds, royal carriages, lavish gowns, and glittering jewels. Many envied the life Anne now led. Henry, who had risked everything for her, was content for a time. But the fairy tale didn't last. A storm was brewing behind the palace walls, and tragedy would soon strike. One day, shocking rumors erupted. Queen Anne Boleyn was having an affair. Gossip spread like wildfire throughout the court and across the kingdom. Furious, Henry ordered his personal spies to investigate. Anne had a private music tutor, an innocent man who, one day, was abruptly seized by royal guards during a lesson. But behind the scandal of adultery lay an even darker truth. The marriage between Henry and Anne had long been strained. The king was growing increasingly frustrated that Anne had failed to produce a male heir. Anne, on the other hand, became withdrawn and spent more time in the company of her friends and entertainers. Yet according to many historians, it was not Anne who was unfaithful, but Henry himself. Known for his wandering eye, he had already become enamored with another woman. Tired of Anne and desperate to be rid of her, Henry used her failure to bear him a son as a convenient excuse. Cruelly, the king didn't want merely to discard her, he wanted her gone for good. But he couldn't kill his queen without a just cause. So, with the help of his advisors, he orchestrated a brutal scheme. The men who confessed to sleeping with Anne had likely been bribed or tortured into false admissions. The trial was a sham, the outcome predetermined. Anne's fate mirrored that of Queen Catherine, but with a bloodier ending. While Catherine was simply cast aside, Anne was beheaded, and not long